Hey guys, it's me, it's Queen Aset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, pass it on to somebody else who might like it too, and drop us a positive comment in the comment section. And remember to stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to read and respond to two of my positive comments from previous videos. If you would like to email me, if you would like to hit me up on social media, if you would like to become one of my patrons on Patreon, if you would like to send me a gift from my Amazon wish list, because gifts are my love language. If you want to send me a gift, a monetary gift through PayPal or love donation, all of that information is going to be underneath this video. All right, so today we're going to talk about Aquarius men and their sexuality. So we were talking about Rick James last week, and people were saying to me in the comments section that there was, a lot of questions about his sexuality. We really don't know, to be honest with you. Rick did Rick. Rick did whatever it was he was going to do. So we weren't in the bedroom with him. We really don't know about his sexuality. All we know are the women, the many, 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 many women who have, been with him or were romantic with him publicly, that kind of thing. Like Linda Blair, the girl that played The Exorcist, she was one of his lovers. Tina Marie, one of his famous lovers. The woman he married that he ended up going to jail with, another famous lover. So we know about the women, but we don't know if there was anything else going on. So the person said to me in the comment section, why didn't I believe Aquarius men about their sexuality? Because that was my statement. My statement was I don't always know if they're being honest about their sexuality. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I've been doing readings for many, 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 many years. I started doing readings and it's been like 20 years. And a lot of the Aquarius men have lied to me about their sexuality. And I'm looking at their sexuality in the cards, and either they were in denial or they were just lying to me, one of the two. And somebody else asked me, why does this occur? And I think it has to do with this. If you're an Aquarius, a lot of people question your sexuality because we have this reputation for being wild, sexually wild and kinky and free and stuff like that. And a lot of that is true, but it doesn't mean that every Aquarius is in the LGBTQAI spectrum. Okay? Some Aquarius are very heterosexual. I don't know what the percentages are, but some of us are, and it only makes mathematical sense because only like 15% of the United States population is openly in that community. Depending on whose survey you look at, it could be a little higher, a little lower, but it's like generally around 15%. Now, if you look at Aquarius, you don't know percentage wise. Nobody's ever taken a survey that I've seen yet, because there probably is some out there, about the Aquarius and being heterosexual or not. So we really don't know how many people it is. I mean, you really never know, because most of the people I know who are openly gay, 85 to 90% of them tell me they used to be in the closet. So a lot of us, most of us, even myself, hide it at first. So that's a large part of how you never know really what's going on with somebody's sexuality. I always say it's nobody's business unless you want to tell people. If you want to tell people, if you want to be open about it, then that's fine. But it's really nobody's business. So because of the fact that Aquarius are often thought of as being, these open-minded sexual type entities, some of the times Aquarius don't like that, especially ones that are heterosexual or ones that are heteronormative or ones that are grappling with their sexuality. They don't like that. So a lot of times they're dishonest about it. So when an Aquarius man specifically, because I don't get this from the women, and women can lie about anything that they want to, but I'm talking about what I've seen when I've been pulling cards. And most of the time, when a woman is bi or gay or she's in the spectrum or she's in the community, she's either very open about it or very comfortable about it. But in our society, the way that we treat men is not the same. Men are really, really persecuted by other people over their sexuality. If a woman comes out and says that she's bi or she's this or she's that, people may or may not like it, but they kind of just flag it off. But when a man says that, he's treated completely different. He's treated like he's not even a man anymore in a lot of cases. So a lot of men, not just Aquarius men, a lot of men, period, hide in the closet for their entire lives or for most of their lives because of that reason. And I've just come to find that Aquarius men who are, even if they are gay, have a tendency to be hyper masculine. A lot of them have a tendency not to be comfortable with it and not to be honest about it. So I feel like if I hear rumors or questions, I don't assume, like in the case of Rick, I don't assume he is, and I don't assume that he isn't. Because I already know. I already know that this goes on. I've done enough readings and seen this enough times and talked about it with these men enough times to know that sometimes they cover it up. And sometimes they cover it up with themselves. Sometimes a person will be so in denial, they'll do things to counteract it, to prove to themselves that that's not the case. Okay? So for me, knowing that, having done these readings, knowing these men, having these conversations, I am not like saying, oh yeah, they're lying. I'm saying that I reserve judgment. And it's not my business, so I'm not going to say yes, they are this way or yes, they are that way. A person has to come to terms with their own sexuality and either put it out there or not. It's their business. But I'm not going to assume that they're heterosexual just to fit my narrative. And that's what a lot of people do. A lot of heterosexual people, for some reason, it makes them more comfortable and it fits their narrative for you to be heterosexual too. And if you're not, then they feel a little uneasy. Not everybody, obviously, because we have a lot of heterosexual allies. The gay community, the gay movement has had a lot of allies from people who were heterosexual. But there are some people who are prone to homophobia, or some people who are scared of their own sexuality, who act like that. So for me, it's just a matter of saying, okay, well, it is what it is. The one thing I can tell you about Aquarius men is that a lot of them are very sexual. A lot of them are extremely sexual, and some of them are exclusively sexual with one sex or another. And then there's some that, are no holds barred. They'll do whatever they feel like doing at that moment. And either or is not a problem. So I would never, somebody said, do I think all Aquarius are gay? Hell no. Hell no. It's impossible for all of us to be gay. It's impossible. Now, I have heard theories from people like psychologists. I've heard psychologists say that most people are bi and they either choose to go one way or another. So I have heard some pretty good arguments made for that, but would I say, oh, Aquarius is a sign where everybody's gay and bi? No, that's not fair at all. All I would say is that it's common. It is common, and not all of us do well with that. Some of us that are, like myself, we deal with it, we get comfortable, we get over it. It is what it is. And some of us, especially some of our men, never really do. So the one girl that was asking me about it, she was kind of shook because she was like, I'm in a relationship with an Aquarius man. So is he going to lie to me about his sexuality? And I'm like, anybody can lie to you about their sexuality. Just ask him. And if his answers feel off to you, ask some more questions. You know, keep on asking until you guys have an open and honest dialogue. And remember, the reason why most people lie is because they fear being judged. So the less judgment you put on a person, the more likely they'll tell you the truth. Some of my Aquarius men who I did readings for, the biggest reason why they were lying was because they didn't have anybody they could talk to. For about 20 of them, I was the first person they even admitted it to. And it was only because I saw it in the cards and mentioned it. If I hadn't mentioned it, they wouldn't have mentioned it. So what I'm saying is that a lot of people are dishonest about their sexuality. Not just Aquarius, but it does happen a lot in our sign. And like I said, the more you come away from judgment and the more that you're accepting, like, you know, it is what it is. And the more you don't tell people's business, they're afraid is, you know, people don't want their business out there, people whispering and talking about them at the water cooler, you know, they want to be free to do that, to come out, not come out, whatever, themselves. So you need to have a long talk, an honest talk. And a lot of men get very angry when you ask them questions like that. Like, dude, don't get mad. I mean, you're sleeping with her. Of course, she has a right to ask you about your sexuality and your sex life. Some people ask you how many sex partners you've had. And it's a very fair question for somebody. So don't get angry about it. Just reveal what you're comfortable revealing and move on from there. Now, Jacob Lujan, I think it says Lujan, said, I love how different we are. Exactly. The love language we speak is an expression of us. That is going to be abstract. We all show love different and intake it differently. Definitely. Every last one of us does. Queen's Journey, she said, my guy is a Libra, and I said, babe, let's go to the Smoky Mountain and walk around sightseeing. He said, let me think about it. What the fuck is there to think about? Air signs have to think about everything. He got to think about the timing. He got to think if he got comfortable shoes. He got to think if he wants to go to that mountain versus somewhere else. Air signs have a lot to think about. And people often say, what is there to think about? Does he even want to go? Is another consideration. He might want to go roller skating or do something else. But that's another consideration. All right. I think that was the last one, guys. That was it. All right, so I am going to come back soon, and I hope you do too, because I have a lot more to say. See you later.